The Oscars. It's that time of year, guys. I personally love it. I love the Oscars. I'll get to that at the very end. But let me just say this. So, this is my third time giving my predictions of the Oscars via YouTube, and I'm happy to do it. And what I'm going to say is I'm going to be giving my predictions for 21 categories, not 24, because three of the categories, I feel as though I just feel as though it's not worth it, because literally the day of the Oscars, that's when I actually put those three, into predictions. But it's not like honest predictions, just like, oh, what's the most popular? And this isn't what it's about for me. When I predict the Oscars, it's about what I think will win, not versus, oh, it's popular. These categories I don't know anything about. And if in case you're wondering, it's like the short film categories. I never watch them, so that's why I'm like, why predict them? But for these other 21 categories, yes, I did watch them. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start things off with Best Visual Effects. A strange category, I know, to start off with, but let's get started. So Best Visual Effects, I think that First Man will win. Why not? It's a lot of practical effects. It looks incredible, and it is very minimalistic with CGI. Something I can't say with the other four nominees. Some people are saying that Avengers Infinity War might pull through and win. I hope not, but it could. It very much so could. But I'm saying personally, First Man. Next up is Best Animated Feature. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think, will win. For sure. What I think should win is Isle of Dogs, me personally. But again, as much as I love Isle of Dogs, I just know that Best Animated Feature is oftentimes what's the most popular. And Spider-Man Spider-Verse fits the bill. So next up is Best Documentary Feature. This will go to RBG, which I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot of people say of how important it is. And I'm going to get around to watching it eventually. I do think that it is a film that I probably would like because I do appreciate films for their importance and the merits that they ensue. So I'm hoping I like it, but Best Documentary Feature, count on RBG. Best Foreign Language Film, geez, this isn't even a this isn't even a question. It's just like a statement. Roma. Roma's going to win Best Foreign Language Film. Cold War, potentially, like there's a 2% chance that it could upset, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing Roma win this category. Next up, I'm just going to say them both because I have them next to each other. Best Costume Design and Best Production Design, I think the favorite's going to win. I think Black Panther could potentially be a spoiler for either of those categories. And don't get me wrong, Black Panther does have incredible designs, but I just see the favorite winning in both of these categories. It's just a gut feeling I have. One I hope is right at the end game. Next up is Best Makeup. This is another one of those categories where it's like, duh, and that's Vice. If you've seen Vice, you'll know that the makeup is incredible in the film. It does such a great job of making these actors and actresses actually look like the real life figures. Incredible work for the best makeup. Definitely a win. Best Sound Editing, I'm going to go with First Man. Although I do hear a lot of people saying Roma might win in this. And potentially. I mean, there are also other factors, but I think First Man will be given this award because if you've seen the ending of First Man, you'll know that moon landing scene was incredible with the sound editing and easily tops any of those other four nominees. And I'm saying that as someone that liked A Star is Born's sound design. But I don't know. I just see First Man pulling through. Speaking of A Star is Born, though, Best Original Song, Best Sound Mixing. Both of those will go to A Star is Born. Best Original Song for Shallows, hands down, will win. Best Sound Mixing, I'm going with the gut feeling because the mixing in that film was incredible. You have all this music going on around, and at the same time, you can still hear the dialogue, but it sounds as if you actually are at a concert or bar-esque type environment. And that's hard to do, which is why I give them props that they were able to mix this all together. That's what I'm going with. The Star is Born for both original song and best sound mixing. Next up, speaking of music, best original score. What will win is Nicholas Brittle's If Beale Street Could Talk. What I think should win, I think Black Klansman should win for this. Terrence Blanchard's score is incredible. And don't get me wrong, if Beale Street Could Talk, his score is good for sure. But I do think that Black Klansman's score was just Holy cow. Very, very powerful. Best cinematography, this goes without saying that, again, Roma. Roma for the win. Roma will win best cinematography. What I think should win, The Favorite. I mean, you see that movie? The fish lens shots are incredible, and they do such a great job of showing off the production design as well as the costume design, which are both, major importance in a film like this. But again, I think at the end of the day, Roma will win best cinematography, hands down. Next category, this is the category that's most important. Best editing. This is a category that usually, like 95% of the time, if a film wins best editing, it does go on to win best picture. And some people are saying Bohemian Rhapsody will win. And to that I say, if Bohemian Rhapsody wins best editing, I'm going to throw this pen out the window because Bohemian Rhapsody shouldn't even be nominated for best editing. The editing in that film was not that good. And I'm saying that as a John Ottman fan. It's the editor. But my goodness, the editing in Bohemian Rhapsody, not good. I'm saying personally, I think BlacKkKlansman will win best editing. I think the editing of that film was incredible. Specifically, if you watch the ending, like the last 10 minutes, incredible editing. I mean, it's just, some people might say it's flashy, but for me, it's not flashy. It's just very effective, and that's why it becomes noticeable that the editing is so effective. But anyways, best editing, BlacKkKlansman. Next up, best adapted screenplay, which I also think BlacKkKlansman will win. BlacKkKlansman is the favorite in best adapted screenplay, and I think it will pull it off. Some people are saying Can You Ever Forgive Me might win. And don't get me wrong, that is a great screenplay. But at the end of the day, I think BlacKkKlansman will squeak it out simply because it did get nominated for Best Picture and Director. But that's not the only reason why. The screenplay for BlacKkKlansman is amazing. It combines so many different genres and it's just brilliant. Go watch BlacKkKlansman. Next up, speaking of favorites, Best Original Screenplay will go to The Favorite. The Favorite is, what can I say? The Favorite's a great movie, but it's also very unique in its approach to this genre, or multi-genre, I should say, because The Favorite is mixing many different genres and it blends them very well. And Roma is nominated in this category as well as Green Book, but at the end of the day, I feel as though most people aren't talking about Roma's screenplay, and Green Book's facing so much controversy that I just don't see them saying, you know what, let's give Green Book a pat on the back for its writing. And I don't think it should, because yes, Green Book, I'm saying this, it's funny. Don't get me wrong, it's a very funny movie. Yeah, it's dramatic too, but the humor is very effective. It's very shallow. When you're looking at The Favorite, it sticks with you. It's very effective, and it's original, which is why it will win Best Original Screenplay for The Favorite, that is. Next up, so I'm getting into the acting categories. So Best Supporting Actress, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. This is a given. What I think should win, Rachel Weisz for The Favorite. But again, If Beale Street Could Talk will win in this category. Next up, Best Supporting Actor, Mahershala Ali for Green Book. Good performance, for sure. I'm a big fan of the actor. I'm watching True Detective right now, the third season, and he's great in that. He's just an overall great actor. People love him, and I can understand why. That being said, I think Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me should win. That performance in that movie was incredible. But again, it's not going to win. And I would even like Adam Driver to win, but I just know that he got nominated because BlacKkKlansman was getting a bunch of nominations. But either of those two, I think, should win. But at the end of the day, again, I know that Mahershala Ali for Green Book will win. Next up, this is a frustrating category because I feel as though this happens every single year. Best Actress, Glenn Close for The Wife will win. What do I mean by every year this happens? I mean that every year you have an actress get nominated for a film that is so basic that a performance that is solid to good turns out to be great because the film is so boring and dull that a performance elevates it. And then people are like, you know what? That movie was worth watching because of that performance. And it's like, yeah, Glenn Close was good in The Wife, and yeah, The Wife is solid. But come on. You put that performance against Olivia Colman in The Favorite? Come on now. So, like, obviously, I'm a big Olivia Colman fan in The Favorite. I want that to win, but again, at the end of the day, I know that's not realistic. I know that Glenn Close will win for The Wife. Something that's even more frustrating, though. Let's get into the Best Actor category. So, I'm just going to say it. Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody will win Best Actor. That is so frustrating to me because that's a solid performance, but it is in no way a good performance. It's a solid performance, and I'm saying as a huge Rami Malek fan. Big fan of Mr. Robot. I watched Rami Malek's films before he became famous. I saw The Master. I saw Larry Crown. I've seen a lot of his early work. He's a talented actor. And don't get me wrong, yeah, he looked like Freddie Mercury, but I mean, the performance itself was just solid. Go watch Vice. Watch Christian Bale's performance as he just transforms literally on screen into Dick Cheney. It's incredible. It made my Christmas. That was the Christmas present I needed to watch an excellent acting performance. But I know that Christian Bale probably won't win for Vice. He should. It's a shame. It's a shame that he won't. But he won't win. But again, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody will win. Now comes the two most important categories. I'm not going to lie. There's one category where I'm going to get into a lot of exposition. You'll see which one it is. Next up is Best Director. Roma. Alfonso Cuarón for Roma will win. What I think should win, Yorgos Lanthimos is for The Favorite. Roma is a good film. Alfonso Cuarón did a great job with it. But again, at the end of the day, I see him winning. I see him winning in this category, taking it home. But again, Yorgos Lanthimos is for The Favorite. I think he should win. So next up is, this is the category, again, I'm going to get into a lot of exposition. So Best Picture. So Best Picture has changed. And I never realized it. You know, I've been doing these predictions now since 2013. And I never realized how the system worked until, I'd say, actually like a year ago, probably around this time. It was like after the Oscars. I was like, oh shoot, that's why that won. So essentially the Oscars is preferential voting. And so essentially what that means is if a film gets 51%, I believe that's percentage, don't quote me, if it gets 51% or more of the first votes, meaning that 51% of the Academy voted it as the number one film of the year, it will win Best Picture. However, as we all know, opinions are very variable. You know, there's a lot of people that will say like, oh, Bohemian Rhapsody's Best Picture worthy, like as the number one film of the year, or Star is Born. So the thing is, 51%, I just don't see that as being a realistic figure. I don't see Roma, yes, it's The Favorite, but I don't see it actually getting 51%. I see it getting somewhere like maybe 45%. So what happens essentially is if a film doesn't get 51%, those first votes then get divvied up to the second one. If those votes don't then make the second film get to, I believe it's the 51% as well, then it goes down to the third one, which is why you'll see films such as 12 Years a Slave, Birdman, Spotlight, Moonlight, Shape of Water win Best Picture. I love all those films. I do. But you'll notice every single one of those years, you had these heavy hitter popular films that were said to have won. I believe Roma is this year's. Last year was Three Billboards. And the year before was, I believe it was it was La La Land. I believe Roma is this year's La La Land and The Revenant. Because essentially, think about it. Roma does have a lot of support. You have a lot of people supporting this film, and I can understand why. But there are a lot of voters that are older, and they look at Netflix as a threat, which I agree with. They look at it as black and white and foreign language film. They also look at the fact that most people that watch the Oscars are never going to heard of Roma. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So I don't see it getting 51%. I see it potentially getting 45%, and then those votes get divvied up. Forget about A Star is Born. Forget about Bohemian Rhapsody and Vice. Look at Green Book. If you're doing the Oscar votes, look at Green Book, Black Panther, Black Klansman, and I think that. Oh, The Favorite. No. I think the Favorite's too strange. I love The Favorite. If I could go based off of my voting, I would say The Favorite, but I know it's not realistic. So it's Black Panther, Black Klansman, and Green Book. Well, look at the predictions. I've done my list. If you're going based off of my predictions, Green Book only got nominated. Won one Oscar up to Best Picture getting announced. That's Best Supporting Actor. That's never happened before, where a film's only won 2 Oscars and the other Oscar that I got nominated for with the Best Picture was for acting. It just hasn't happened before. And yeah, it could be groundbreaking, but I just don't see that happening. Look at Black Panther. Yeah, it won the SAG award, but think about this. Just think about this for a second. Black Panther isn't a favorite in any of the categories. Yeah, it could potentially win for costume design or production design, but do you really see the Academy giving Best Picture to a film that won in those two categories? Now, that leaves Black Klansman, which I personally think that will be getting a lot of 2 and 3 votes, which is usually what happens when a film wins. It gets a lot of 2 and 3 votes, not 1, because as I mentioned with the preferential voting system, how it works. So I think Black Klansman will get a lot of 2 and 3 votes. And here's what's also helping it. It's a favorite to win in Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Editing, and I think it's going to win in both of those categories. And it might potentially win for Best Original Score. So that's 3 or 4 Oscars that it could win. Yes, I know some people are probably thinking right now with me trying to explain this, that yes, Roma, based on my voting, will win 3 Oscars. But think about this. Do you really see the Academy giving Best Foreign Language Film and Best Picture to Roma? Me neither. So that's why I'm going with Black Klansman. As well as I think that one of the reasons why I love the Oscars is because I look at it as each year they pick the most important film. If you were to see one film that year, they say this is the film that you should watch because of its importance, its merits, and just its overall watchability. Sometimes the watchability might be subjective where it's like, oh, that was hard to watch, but necessary to watch. Or, oh, that was fun to watch, but at the same time, it was deeply rooted with believability as well as ambiguity and just ambition nature. I think Black Klansman has all the makings of a Best Picture winner. I do. I truly do. I think it did hit audiences, really hard when it came out. It's been very consistent with its momentum, and just everything about it just has those markings. It's extremely well acted. It got nominated, and in my opinion, will win for Best Editing and Screenplay, which are both 2 things that a lot of the time says what's going to win Best Picture. And even if it wins one of those, I still think Black Klansman could come home with 2 or 3 Oscars, and that especially comes down to Best Picture. Black Klansman will win Best Picture. Potentially what will upset it is Roma or maybe Black Panther. But again, I'm going with my gut this year. Black Klansman will win Best Picture. So I explained why I like the Oscars, but I'm also going to say this. I do hope that the Oscars are interesting this year because last year it was a little too long. And yes, I was happy that a lot of the films I liked did win and get nominated. But this year, I really do hope that they make the right decisions that, I, of course, think should win. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to say this. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And keep in mind, with how I explain Best Picture, I haven't been right about what won Best Picture since 2013. So just keep that in mind. But at the same time, just know that every single year before 2013, when I said 12 Years a Slave was going to win, 2014 to 2018, I said this could potentially win, and it won. But as for what I said, what will win, it never happened because it was usually the film that everyone was like building momentum with. Black Klansman, it doesn't have that momentum going forward right now, but I do think that with just how it's been very even with all this Oscar buzz, I think it could potentially come home with it. And that's why, again, I'm just explaining myself just so you guys see where I'm coming from. Just want to be honest. So, again, that's just the way I broke it all down. Guys, please, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think is going to win in these categories? What do you think is going to win Best Picture, most importantly? And what do you think overall of the Oscars this year, especially with all the changes that has happened with the ceremony? Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I am very curious to hear your guys' thoughts. And yeah, I will catch you guys later. And I also just real quickly, I know this video is getting really long. I also wanted to say, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.